I'm Tracy with your weekly channeled oracle reading for December 14th through 20th, 2015. Hi, little hawks. How were you last week? Last week was an awful week. The last couple of weeks have been crazy regarding the, excuse me, the winter solstice energies coming through. And when the winter solstice energies come through, they come through before the actual solstice, so before the actual changing of the seasons, as we say. So those energies come into Earth first, and then what happens is all the planetary changes occur, all the changes within our body occur. So what we're doing is, I describe this on social media as this. So we're, well, uploading, but really I guess downloading, I'm not sure. Honestly, I don't really know the difference between upload and download. So, to me, they're interchangeable. Miss High Tech here. But we're uploading those energies, and then if you've ever uploaded a YouTube video, you know once you upload it, then that gets processed, and then it's on your YouTube channel. And then after that, you get to do different things to it if you want. You can edit it, change the sound with some of their editing tools. And so it's all kind of the same way. You know, we upload whatever, download those energies. Then our bodies have to process those energies or bring our body into an alignment with it. And for those of us who are very sensitive to energy, it can hurt. And, you know, you'll get pains in your bodies. Gosh, I had one pain just here, it just radiated, it just burned, and it didn't matter if I meditated, if I gave it Reiki, if I took any pain pills, I let it speak to me. Remember, we talked about our body's wisdom and letting it speak, and I let it speak, and nothing, and I just kept going, oh my God, what is it? And to me, then that might be an omen of, okay, something big is happening. And yes, then I did take a phone call and, you know, had found out that my mom had gone to emergency the night before, and so perhaps that's what it was, because the energies did lessen, but I don't fully think so. I think that it was the solstice energies coming through, and I think this year the energies were big, they were bold, they were dark, they were heavy, heavier and all that than previous years, because we have gone through some major changes this past year, and a lot of people have, you know, become more conscious, more aware in their life, and have changed paths, you know, whether it be through changing the job, or they're just coming more to consciousness and being more aware of the food they eat, and, well, how is that animal farmed? How, you know, where does this paper that we're writing on come from? Or maybe we're not using as much paper. Well, how much energy are we using up? Are we using a lot of electricity? Well, where does that electricity come? You know, we start asking these questions, and we start becoming more conscious. You know, if, I know someone who doesn't want to use makeup if it's tested on animals. That's a way of becoming more conscious. And it's not that if you use makeup that's tested on animals that you're bad. Now listen up, because a lot of people don't realize the hair products, beauty products, and all that they are using are tested on animals. It's all about asking the question, right? Like, where did this come from? How is it processed? How are the animals treated? How do we know that for putting this face lotion on our face that it doesn't hurt and it won't sting? How did that beauty company figure that out? So maybe you start to do some research, or you start to talk to people, and you realize, you know what, they're doing this on bunnies. I don't like this, so I'm going to stop using this product. That's one way people become conscious and awake and alive. Other ways, it's about what you use on your lawn, what, you know, if you use salt or sand in the wintertime. There's many ways, and we are all very different at the rate in which we awaken and become more conscious and become more ourselves, and for everybody it is very, very different. So I would say not to be judgmental of people. I still have a long way to go in many things that I do. Will I get there? Not on everything, probably not. You know, I think of a time here in Ottawa, we weren't recycling or anything like that, and we had visited PEI, and PEI was, so that's Prince Edward Island for my friends elsewhere. A beautiful little island, by the way. I'd love to live there. they were ahead on the recycling and the organic waste. And I remember going there and I was like, what am I supposed to do? You know, and the owner of the cottage is just like laughing. She goes, yeah, it's hard for mainlanders, right? Because they call us, because we're from the mainland, because they're islanders, you know, to wrap their head around that. But now here in Ottawa, you know, we've been doing this for many years now, recycling organic waste, and it has become such a way of life for me that I can't even, if I see a piece of paper in the garbage, I'm like, oh, no, we have to recycle that. We have to recycle that. What are you doing? What are you doing? Don't put that in the garbage. You know, I've become more conscious and aware. And so we do change and we do raise our consciousness. And that is how life evolves and becomes. And I think we're certainly, you know, we're all arriving and at different times, but there's a fast rate of arrival right now that's happening, and that's been this past year. And so this goes back to the solstice energies, and that's why I think they've been so bad, because bad as in they've affected us deeply, and there's been a lot of pain, a lot of irritability, a lot of fatigue, lethargy, stuff like that, because we're realigning for the new season. But not only new season, but for those of us who went through a lot this past year, we're realigning for the new year coming our way. So this is the closing up of the year, and oftentimes I find that is why Christmas can also be a very difficult season on people, because it's at the same time as the solstice. And ask me a different time, I'll tell you a quick story about my grandmother and grandfather getting married on December 20th. And I thought, well, that's probably crazy. It's a really great story. I should tell you guys it. I don't have time now, but, you know, and I thank God, Christmas, getting married, but they eloped. Not eloped, but let's just say they went to the Justice of the Peace. And then they went and had a hot dog and a Coke at Woolworths after. It's a really cute story. Anyways, they remained married for over 50 years. So you see, it's not all about pomp and circumstance and stuff like that when you get married and all. Oh, it makes me think about them. Anyways, so that's why the energies have probably been very, very strong this past year, because some years they are stronger than others. Because other times, I remember when I was just learning, you know, the ebbs and the flows of stuff, and I knew the equinox and the solstices were big energies, and there was cleansing and there was clearing going on. But some years I'd be like, well, what? I don't understand. You know, it's not so bad this year. But then as you're going through it, you realize some years are worse than others. And again, it depends upon where you are in your ascension process, and you're coming to light, and you're awakening to your consciousness and to your soul's path and all stuff like that. And we're here, and perhaps we know about this, but there will be many people who will live throughout their lives, this life that they're living in, that may never awaken, they may never become conscious, become aware, and that is their free will, and it's also maybe part of their soul's contract when they decided to come here. So just because we're awakening and we're conscious doesn't mean other people will. And I guess that kind of the way I like to put it is, you can, what's that we're saying? You can bring a camel to water, but you can't make him to drink. So in other words, you can show people the way, you can tell them till you're blue in the face, all this stuff that they should be doing, which you shouldn't be doing, by the way. You let people come to it on their own. But it doesn't mean by you telling them and stuff like that, that they're going to do it. You have to let people come to realizations and stuff like that all on their own. So here we are, and we just got past those crazy solstice energies. Yes, take a deep breath and let it all out, because it was chaotic. It was madness. It really was. But you weren't alone, and I think that's all you need to know about last week, because it was right on, right? Whitehawk said, it's going to go like this, like all over the place, right? Like if you think about it, if a curveball was thrown, that's a curveball, right? And so the energies are doing this, and they're all over the place, and you're like, oh my God. And then he said it was going to straighten up. Now I have to say again, it's Thursday while I'm recording this. I can't totally say that the energies have straightened up for me yet and that good things have occurred, but there are some good things coming up, so I know it's going to happen. And I myself feel much better today than I have in the past 4 or 5 days. You know, there was, I think, one day, both me and my son, like we just did not want to get up out of bed. I could not literally. I slept in an extra hour My son slept in an extra, 45 minutes that day, just because it was one of those days where we could not get our heads up out of bed. That's how fatigued we were. So I could see it in other people around me as well, and I could see how the energies affected them. So I knew it just wasn't me. And that's where you go, ha, there's something going on. So all that to say, I think you made it through this week, and welcome. And now let's go see what Whitehawk has to say for this week, from the 14th to the 20th. Oh my God, I'm 10 minutes in. I'm so sorry. I get talking, and I swear to God, just give me my little box on the side of the sidewalk, and I'll just prophesize, and away I go. Sorry, guys. Okay, let's go get Whitehawk and see what he has to say for the upcoming week. Oh my God, I could sleep. Indeed, little ones, welcome one and welcome all, he says. And so how was your trip down the rabbit hole this time round? And I see, the white rabbit from Alice in Wonderland going down the rabbit hole. And I hear him saying, I'm late for a very important date. And Whitehawk says, well, how was it, children? And we're all like, I don't know, have any clue what you're talking about there, Whitehawk. As everyone's sort of saying, I have no idea what you're talking about. And Whitehawk says, well, you did. You just took a trip through, you could call it a wormhole, you can call it down the rabbit hole, call it whatever you want. But you have just come from one side and arrived in a totally different location by coming through these changes. And so I guess another way I could ask you is, how do you feel now? After coming through a week of that, I want you to take a moment, and I want you to look at yourself. I want you to look at your face. I want you to look at the way you're dressing. I want you to look at your mood. I want you to look at how what you're reflecting on, what your perspective on things are. And I want you to notice. I want you to note. Have I changed? Am I the same? I want you to notice in various ways. Did you pair your clothes up differently than you normally would? Did you change out of something that was prickly and perhaps not so comfortable, looked fabulous and amazing, but didn't feel comfortable? Did you do that? And you just wanted to be comfortable, and you just wanted to be you, as opposed to what you perhaps thought everybody else thought you should look like, or perhaps what everybody else would have liked to have seen you look like. Did you change the way you eat? Did you change up to a more healthier, balanced diet? Are you drinking more water? Look for little changes throughout your life where you're doing things differently. Did you make your bed for the first time in many months because you just felt like you had the energy all of a sudden now to do it? Did you load your dishwasher differently? Did you take a different route to get to work? There are many indications in your life that will indicate that you have changed, that you are changing. And that change is, of course, coming from within to without. For now, it is materializing. It is coming to fruition. And this one is very right when she says that we are coming to fruition or arriving at a very, very fast, perhaps even the speed of light. We are arriving that quickly these days. People are tired of the old and want the new, and you're seeing the new arrive in many, many ways. Look in your newspaper articles, look and see what's in the news. See what has changed, where you go, well, that's different. Wow, that was a complete 360. Wow, look at that. Anything like that, children, is going to let you know, not only are you changing, but the consciousness is changing, and we are rising up to that change. And so perhaps this week is less about, hey, how's this week going to turn out? And more about, let's take some noticing how we're feeling about ourselves. Let's take some noticing about the world around us and notice how it has changed. Let's notice perhaps about what television programs we are viewing. Are we listening to a different radio station? Perhaps maybe we are what's that called? Connecting with different people of indigenous roles, indigenous peoples. Maybe we're connecting with different cultures. Perhaps we are opening up to new foods. I want you to note and notice. I don't want you to do it on purpose. I'm not asking you to do it on purpose. What I'm asking you to do is note, how did I change? Oh, look at that. I've done that differently. How did I do that differently? For some, it might be you're doing dishes differently. Perhaps for others, it is that you are writing differently. Perhaps you've changed your signature. Perhaps you have changed your signature meal that you eat every week on a certain night. I want you to note and I want to notice and see where you have changed, and you will see the change. Perhaps take a photograph. Perhaps not a selfie, he says, but perhaps a photograph of impromptuness, where someone takes it for you, and you will see that change in yourself. For sometimes when we go with the purpose to take a picture of ourselves, our energy does not sync with how we have changed. But if someone takes a very impromptu picture of us and we're unaware of our energy, we can see how we have changed in that photo. And so the indicators will be there, children. And so all I'm asking you to do this week is to notice and to note how you really have changed. Is it simply that you stand taller? Is it simply that you're choosing a different type of shoe to wear? Is it simply that you have decided to throw all caution to the wind and to live life more vicariously rather than living so structured and so safely? You will note and you will notice the changes. And then he says, I would love for you to come back to me, and I would love for you to tell me of just the very subtle changes you are noticing in yourself. And oh yes, they are oh so subtle, but they are so you, and they are so now. And so God bless, children, on your journey this week, as you note and notice you more than ever. God bless, children. God bless. Mm-hmm. Oh no, I have low battery. Okay, I got to wrap it up pretty quickly. There you go. Sorry, I'm using the iPad so I can see things on the screen. Yeah, so notice, that's fun. That's lots of fun when you notice things. Like for me, I got my hair cut. Okay, yeah, I kind of created it myself, but I was in the mood for, it would have been a different hair color, or it would have been something like that. Eh, Ollie? Want to come say hi? Come say hi. Come up. Say hi, everybody. I'm Ollie. Yes, are you a puppy? Are you a good boy? Okay. What did you change? What changed about you this week, puppy? Okay. Maybe your walking schedule will change. Maybe, you started on a different food. That changed. Anyway, just note and notice the changes on my microphone, sorry. Just notice the changes within your world for the better, because it's more authentically you. So I'm wishing you love, light, peace, health, and happiness this week. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed what you've seen here. Don't forget, if you're stuck in some way of thinking about a gift for a loved one, give them the gift of spirit. Just go to intuitivetracyroad.com. Whitehawk and I would love to serve you with a reading. And for any of my Ottawa friends, I will be at Alice's Village Cafe this Sunday. That's December 13th, between 4 and 7 p.m., giving 20-minute $25, inexpensive, $25. So take that's a good value. So come on in. They're one-on-ones. Get a latte, you know, get a date square or whatever they're serving that's lovely there. They have great food there. Great atmosphere. Come see me between 4 and 7. You can book on my website or just walk in. Take the chance to walk in, but sometime you might be disappointed. You might have to wait an hour. That's all I think. What else do I normally say? Well, you know it all. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. God bless.